Hello there, beloveds, and welcome to the Satsang, this timeless time together. I'd like to dedicate this invitation to be the peace we are, to the life of service, the life lived in love and compassion of Thich Nhat Hanh. I'll be reading some quotes as we explore and allow ourselves to be here as we are, as life is, as mind is, as the world is. And see how present peace already is. One of the quotes I'd like to start is one that really touched me this week being the week of his passing. Where so much of his images are appearing in all the social media apps and on the news and in people's hearts, all the memories, so many dear friends where he was their beloved teacher, the retreats that they went to, the time they spent with him. Even before pressing record and starting this, just hearing the talk about how his presence would fill a room or a plane. Touch so many lives. I loved how Claudia, how did you say he was for you? How did you word it?
For me, he's one of the most humble but grand beings.
Humble but grand beings, yes. Pure humility and completely grand. And unassuming, I think was another word you used. Yeah. So sweet. I really resonated with this quote of his that says, "This body is not me. I am not caught in this body. I am life without boundaries. I have never been born, and I have never died. Over there, the wide ocean and the sky, with many galaxies, all manifests from the basis of consciousness. Since beginningless time, I have always been free. Birth and death are only a door through which we go in and out. Birth and death are only a game of hide and seek. So smile to me and take my hand and wave goodbye. Tomorrow we shall meet again, or even before. We shall always be meeting again and again at the true source, as the true source. Always meeting again on the myriad paths of life." So many souls have come to this planet and blessed it by being themselves. So sweet, these beloved teachers that to the senses also appear as bodies, appear as beloveds, just like us, with names and histories and genetics and experiences and maybe a time before awakening, a time after awakening. Personal histories, a linear expression of a life stream. And it's but one ever-present, aware, conscious aliveness, noticing itself. I think it was Eckhart Tolle who once said the secret of life is to die before the body dies. And so sweet that there are these beloveds that somehow, either through grace or an intuition to practice and practice and practice and devote themselves to exploring, releasing, purifying, opening, humbling themselves, bowing again and again, resting, noticing the option. What a lucky life, just to acknowledge before I even continue, the life of the option to not have to live through ego, not have to live through mind only, not have to live through fear only, not have to live through time only, not have to live through story only. A lucky life, even if there's a smidgen of an intuition, oh, I want to hear what this beloved has to say. Beloveds again that appear as beloveds with their own beautiful stories and the rich complexities of their authentic expressions. And still, just this moment, loving itself, this moment reflecting itself. I'm going to read this quote again, and this quote is not coming from, it's not bound to an individual. What's beautiful with beloveds that appear as teachers, appear as masters, appear as the sweetest, most humble, loving of beings. It's a life surrendered to its source, a mind surrendered to its source, a body surrendered to its source, gifts and talents surrendered to their source. Models, way showers, reflections, invitations, confirmations of your true nature now. So this, shared so beautifully by Thich Nhat Hanh, is something everyone on the planet can say. This body is not me. I am not caught in this body. I am life without boundaries. I have never been born, and I have never, ever died. Over there, the wide ocean and the sky with many galaxies all manifests from the basis of consciousness. Since beginningless time, I have always been free. Since beginningless time, you have always been free. Since beginningless time, mind has always been free. Since beginningless time, all has always been free. Birth and death are only a door through which we go in and out. Birth and death are only a game of hide and seek. So smile to me and take my hand and wave goodbye. Tomorrow we shall meet again, or even before. We shall always be meeting again at the true source, always meeting again on the myriad paths of life. And in this little space, how sweet that as life without boundaries, full willingness to show up in the most simple language, in the most simple form, hold my hand, smile, wave goodbye. We shall always meet again at the true source, as the true source. One aware consciousness, forever meeting itself, loving itself, celebrating itself, being itself as all apparent appearances, as all apparent life streams, all apparent paths, all apparent expressions. And how sweet in the dream of the appearance, the authentic way each heart soul print gets to communicate that which has never been spoken, and the importance of that. How exciting that oneness isn't limited to oneness. Sameness isn't limited to sameness. There's mind's version of same, and there's same that's not limited to what that definition means, including every color, every flavor, every texture, every frequency, every expression. And the beauty of one sharing in their own authentic way. A particular medicine appears in the dream of a species discovering its own brilliance. And it's a medicine that only you can give. There are beloveds, if there is any calling to be a presence of peace, not necessarily a teacher or a guru or all of the various names that no guru has ever truly been a guru, no teacher has ever truly been a teacher, no master has ever truly been a master. This is ordinary, radiant, this moment, this here as itself, love as itself, life as itself, with itself. Any space to live a life of honesty, not even a life of monastery, monastic living, or becoming a monk or a nun, or any of the other expressions that can appear. Your authentic way, an honest life, that medicine, there's only some beloveds that's the only medicine they can receive in their dream, is your authentic way of communicating, your authentic way of saying the same thing, but the way you say it, the words that can be used, the energy behind them, what you've survived, the energy of what you've survived behind them, the energy of what you've experienced behind them, the unique way you've persevered, the resilience, medicine only you can share. So many souls have come to this planet and blessed it by being themselves. Yet the masters await the Messiah, the prophet, salvation's on somebody else. Receive this gift by this song that came through. You are the one the world needs. You are the Gandhi, the Christ, the Lenin. You are the Martin Luther King. Isn't that so sweet? That it's like, oh my goodness, everyone experiencing the perfect amount of everything to show up as a new, fresh, powerful medicine new, fresh, powerful confirmation. New, fresh, powerful love, beloved. New, fresh, powerful joy. Yes. A little sassafras. And so sweet that it gets to come through again and again and again, authentically. Sweet to share. So who knows how this allegiance to what's true is going to appear in one's life. I have many beloved clients. Sometimes there are clients that want to be super doers. I want to be a super doer and do, and I'm gonna need to do this and finish this and have this goal and that goal and that goal and that goal, ding, 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 because that's the way to live a true life. If I'm really enlightened, I'll get everything done. If I'm really awake, I'll have all the seminars booked and done for the next 30 years. If I'm really alive, and it's so sweet to be willing to discover intimately, truly, naturally, organically, honestly, how this uncontrollable force wants to live itself as you, through you. Every expression is beautiful and appropriate. So in some ways it may come through as an activist. In some ways it may come through as sitting on a mountain in silence and everything in between. And it's okay to discover the freedom that you are, the love that you are, is trustworthy and doesn't have to look like any way anyone has ever apparently done it before. How sweet, such permission. The authentic sage, the age of the authentic sage. Let's read a couple more quotes, shall we, from beloved Thich Nhat Hanh. Walk as if you were kissing the earth with your feet. Ay, Dios mío, pero yo gozo de más rico. Qué lindo. Walk as if you were kissing the earth with your feet. Through my love for you, I want to express my love for the whole cosmos, the whole of humanity and all beings. By living with you, I want to learn to love everyone and all species. If I succeed in loving you, I will be able to love everyone and all species on earth. This is the real message of love. This I've read many times in different Facebook posts and Instagram posts and through different conversations with dear friends. This quote, "You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free." How sweet is that? You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free. Yeah, it's so sweet. Breathing in, I calm body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is the only moment. This is the only moment. Ticks and tocks and days and hours and apparent dance of cause and effect appear in this moment that doesn't move. Time and all the various perspectives of time, experiences of time, appears in this moment that doesn't move. Okay, let's read this one. When we look into ourselves as a human being, we see that the human being is made only of non-human elements. Isn't that wondrous? I love that. We have the mineral element in us. We have the element of vegetable in us. We have the element animal in us. Not only do we have human ancestors, but we also have animal ancestors and vegetable ancestors and also mineral ancestors. And our ancestors do not belong only to the past. They belong to the present. They are fully present in us. Without them, we cannot see the way we see. We cannot think the way we think. We cannot live the way we live. And the electron is also in us. So when I produce a thought, every ancestor is in me, including the mineral, vegetable, and animal ancestors, collaborative with me in order to produce that thought. It's like when you see, you look at the tree, that is not the job of only your eyes, as you know very well. Without the brain, without the blood, without the cells in your body, without all that, the seeing would be an impossible thing for eyes. When the eyes see, the whole body is participating in the act of seeing. When we produce a thought, when we reason, when we create music, when we do mathematics, not only a number of neurons are doing so, but the whole body. The whole lineage of ancestors in us are participating in producing that thought. So looking like that, you see that you are made of non-you elements, and that the non-you elements continue to be in you, and if you take the non-you elements out, there is no more you left. We have the complex of superiority as human beings, and we think we have the kind of intelligence, that kind of consciousness that other living beings do not have. But I am not very proud of that kind of mind, and that we are using in daily life. The mind of discrimination, caught by many notions, the foundation of all kind of suffering. We discriminate against this and that creates complexes of superiority, inferiority, and equality. This plant has intelligence. This plant has a knowledge. This plant has a will to live. This plant knows how to fabricate flowers and fruit and how to continue to live in the best way it can. And it seems to me that this plant is creating less suffering than we human beings. I am not very proud of my mind of discrimination. Therefore, I am free from the complex of superiority of a human being. I know that I can do better. That is why when you produce a thought, Mother Earth is producing that thought together with you. Don't say that you are alone producing that thought. Mother Earth is in you at the foundation, and she is producing that thought with you at the same time. This thought is not your property. This thought that is produced is a creation of the whole earth. And not only the earth, the sun also. Because without the sun, the earth cannot be herself. She's not able to create you and to bring you into existence. Just one more little piece, this is so beautiful. So that is the mind of non-discrimination. As far as you use the mind of discrimination to judge and to organize, you continue to create suffering. That is why it's so important to learn how to remove notions that are at the foundation of separation and discrimination. And so sweet, spoken in a way, it's so beautiful. So many beloveds, it lands so many places to land. And this invitation, pure satsang, to notice the option of experiencing the moment through descriptions, discrimination, and the option of not having to. It's such a journey. For many, a journey of surrender, an adventure in surrender. Because mind immediately will come through, who's going to clean my ass if I'm not discriminating? I'm not thinking, I'm not describing everything. How am I going to get shit done?
That's mine.
How am I going to create this? How am I going to create that? How am I going to follow through in this thing and that thing? And what a wonderful discovery to discover. Trusting the fullness that is, the wholeness that is. For some of my friends, it can be a little like, what? Because I just naturally appear, it's part of my way of showing up. It's very flowy. Very flowy. It's a lot of laughter here. There's a lot of joy. No sense of urgency whatsoever. And so some people like, oh no, I don't want to be like that. I need to get shit done. I need to do shit. I need to have a calendar full.
I want to find remix of the two.
I want to find.
I like the middle way.
And what's so beautiful is that that's what's so sweet. We get to discover our own flavor. For the beloveds that you have no sense of urgency, it's so okay to be yourself, beloved. You can be yourself. You don't have to you can so be yourself. Life as a way of showing up and loving and supporting. And you can be totally at ease and at rest and be, Sarah Lee. Baking all over the place.
No one does it like Sarah Lee.
Nobody does it like Sarah Lee. Bodie and Ash. So it's love, what you want to say?
Well, I still am 3 steps back. I just caught me that, I don't know if it was a quote or if you just said it, that we live, through all that, the stories of mind or whatever, and there's an option not to, or that's how kind of you phrased it.
Yeah.
And I just did that. It's like, yes, we live through that, and there's a not to, but it's not a sin to.
It's not a who?
A sin. It's not bad.
It's
I'm
not
a bad
bad.
girl that
That's
I do
right.
that. But
it's
good
so
to
not bad.
have the option and to know I have the option. But it's not, I think I want to get rid of thinking only that is good and that is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, lovely.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sweet, right? And then we can notice this is a common thought of mind. mind likes to compartmentalize and pair things up and compartmentalize and compare and have the space of this is what's good and this is what's not good. This is effective. This is not effective. This is right. This is wrong. This is spiritual. This is awake. This is conscious. This is vast. This is fire, alive, living intelligence, wild intelligence. And this is wimpy, 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 hefty, 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 wimpy, 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 hefty, hefty. No, this is the child of the '80s Satsang. La 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 la. One of the first dirty jokes I ever learned. You want to hear it?
Yes.
Why are Smurfs so happy?
What?
Why are Smurfs so happy? Because they're the perfect size for when they walk for the grass to tickle their balls.
I'm glad I swallowed.
While I swallowed.
I would have spit that out.
I was in second grade. I was the first dirty joke, and I'd say it like, because they tickle their balls. La 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 la. No. So just how sweet that to welcome so deeply that aspect of mind that wants to compare, that wants to, what's the word I'm looking for? That wants to
Produce stories.
yes,
Videos.
yes, describe, define, match up. In a wrestling match, wants to put enlightened mind here, and it's like, oh, how for a moment, so welcome. That part of mind never having to change, that thought never having to go away, so welcome. And what's still here, even if that thought, what's the space of welcome? And feeling into the qualities of this that alone is. Does this have any problem with any aspect of mind? Or is there enough room for mind to be itself? Is there enough space for thought to have its little dance? Wee! Oh, wee! Oh! Ah! Oh! Hi, abuela. Oh. It's like feeling into this, so much space for thought, for body. Because again, when we move into places of wanting to change something, innocently, in discrimination, and that's the root of suffering, as beloved Thich Nhat Hanh so beautifully expressed. And this invitation, the profound invitation of allowing everything to be as it is. Such simple words. It can be like allowing everything as it is. Allowing everything to be as it is. It's like relaxing into the already established peace that we are, the already vibrant, wakeful vastness that we are, that which has never had a problem, that which, as beloved Thich Nhat Hanh again said so truly, since beginningless time, I have always been free. This is spoken not from an ego or personality. This is attempting to use language to communicate what is. Awareness speaking to itself. that which has never been confined to body, genetics, that which includes all bodies, genetics, vegetables, minerals, animals. And then it's so obvious, the complete inseparability. This moment is here because of everything. And the nothingness, the emptiness, and the divine poetry of just the hilarity of telling the truth. Stars we have no name for fully support other stars we have no name for. Fully support stars we have some names for. Fully support solar systems we have named. For this planet to be held so incredibly, miraculously, perfectly in its orbit. Somehow, everything works, serves. The couches, the floor, all in support, unconditional support, unwavering, uninterrupted support. Always enough. This moment, always enough. Reminds me of when we were evacuated and we had to leave and couldn't see shit. So, fire on this side, fire on that side, smoke, 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 ashes, ash, ash, some. But you could see 3 feet in front of you. Just enough. Just enough to follow the next car. Just enough. Always just enough. Now. Have you seen those videos of cows being released? Cows that have lived in factory farms their whole lives being released into pasture, experiencing grass for the first time.
No, I haven't seen it.
Big ass cows
They're so fun.
jumping around like
They
chihuahuas
jump around like rabbits.
and rabbits.
Wow.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Cows happy as can be.
Wow. They're incredible.
It's so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So I cry every time I see it. And how beautiful for mind to be given that same pleasure. Allow mind to be out of the factory of the superego. How you need to act, what you need to think, how you need to be, what you need to believe, what you need to say. Oh, do shoot a doodle doo doo. Little man. How sweet. It's like, open the gates, the door that's already open. And for mind to be in the pastures of your heart. So free. So okay. Human beautiful. Human thinking, yes. Human not thinking, that too. But mostly human beautiful. Mostly human beautiful. Anyone else want to share something or explore something?
Yeah, I talked about this with Lauren.
Yay! Hi, Lauren.
She's like, I already know what he's gonna say.
Oh,
So like,
all right.
too much mind. Okay, I'll listen to that. But you said something last week, which so I did a hormone panel for testing,
Nice.
and I am all jacked up.
Oh, fun.
There's all kinds. Yeah, that's one word.
So good to be aware of that.
No, right, exactly. And that's what my functional medicine doctor says too. She
Yeah.
says, whether yes or no or wherever you are, we'll know, and then you can address it.
Yeah.
That's an is,
Uh-huh.
like a not mind. Like the body's doing this thing. it's like measured. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yes. Like, this is what I know. But last week you had said something about, and it really resonated with me because I think it's the primary place where it gets stuck. It's sensation.
Yeah.
So I can feel there's spaciousness and wow, the body's out of balance. What we consider out of balance, like health markers, doesn't mean you should do something about it, doesn't mean you shouldn't do something about it.
Right.
But you are not the markers. That's as far as I'm going to go. Probably enough to go. I went further than that with Dawn, and she's like, I know what she's going to say.
So fun.
But there's I used to have no space, now there's a little.
I love that.
Yeah.
You used to have no space. Is it true?
Experience of no space.
You used to have the experience of no space.
Yeah.
Is that true?
No.
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe it's not true. But yes.
Like the tightness. You know?
Yeah, the tightness. So one thing that's so sweet is that, how great that we're so identified as these bodies and super hyper focused on what's happening with them and what they need and what they don't need, and that we have experts and how sweet that still nobody makes it. It's so sweet. It's so loving. But how awesome that, there's all this attention on various sensations, and it's so great that we can explore and learning and new technologies. But right, still nobody motherfucking makes it. It's so fun.
Still nobody makes it. We're all gonna kick the butt.
Yeah. No one here is out alive.
I heard that is something completely different.
I love that.
That way is way better.
Yes.
I thought you meant like nobody's inside in your body making little hormones and making things. That's how I heard it.
Like a frying pan with eggs.
Nobody's in there making all this shit happen.
How did you mean it?
It's like art, however you interpret it. No, but I did mean it as like nobody makes it. Nobody makes it. Which is so sweet to receive. Which is so sweet to
I got
receive.
some testosterone.
There you go.
Got plenty of testosterone in the fridge if you want to take some.
A little bit of DHEA, some Little Debbie snack cakes.
But I mean, we can say the human experience, hyper focused on who we think we are, on the survival of who we think we are, on the survival of what we think we are. And, wow, that has its own miracle. What a miracle for vast infinite intelligence to imagine itself to be something separate, no matter how dense or no matter how subtle. And how incredible, regardless of what the sensation is, it's like, what is aware of that sensation? Even the sensation of no sensation. The sensation of just, oh wow, this is a good moment. My knee's quiet, my rib is quiet, my leg is quiet, my plantar fasciitis is quiet.
I knew it was coming. It's not quiet.
It's not quiet.
She
yelling. And even when they're loud as fuck, and even when they're yapping and screaming and chanting their own weird chant, it's like, again, there's always the option of just for a second, even as you reach for the Tylenol, even as you reach for the CBD, even as you call the doctor, even as you look at your hormones. You know, it's like I love how Byron Katie so beautifully says there's only two ways to do anything. One is in peace and one is in stress. And so even in the poetry of a body lived, you know, I remember being in such tears of like the most sweetest love when I'm just like, oh my gosh, you beloved body, you are so free to live the adventure you want to live. I am no one to tell you how you should live. Even while I go to the doctor, get my vaccine, maybe even get my booster, maybe even getting a fourth booster or a 10th booster, maybe this, even as life moves, oh, now this appears, oh, now that, it's like peace, present, no argument with the moment. Body so free to have its own adventure. Mind so free to have its own adventure. And all it does, it's like one of the things I like to say, the only thing that life ever asks of us is to love. Oh, I get to love here too? Love while I go to the doctor. Love while I'm sitting in that row with my ass sticking out. Love while I'm in the surgery. Love while I'm going under an anesthesia. Love while I'm waking up from anesthesia. Love when I'm having cancer. Love when in this moment. Love in that moment. Love in divorce. Love in family member dying. Love in the tragedies of our world. Love in, it's like, oh, I get to be myself here. So it's like, yeah, sensations. Do what you, follow the dance of sensations, and also for a short moments, for short moments of awareness, repeated many times, and just
and
notice.
Now deep thoughts, Jack Andy.
I wish I could talk like Maya Angelou. That'd be so fun. I'm a practice. I love me some Maya Angelou. That'd be so much fun to have a Maya Angelou moment in Satsang every now and then. And so, you know, it's like, oh yay. In this moment, I'm going to allow the sensation to flourish. Let everyone repeat that word after me. Flourish.
Flourish.
Say it again. Flourish.
Flourish.
Flourish. It's an option, usually as a species caught in the trance of separation and the addiction to survive. Flourish is not an option. We want to go straight to kill. We want to go straight to cut out. We want to go straight to wrong. We want to go straight to get away from me. We want to go straight to you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. But to, for a second, consciously suffer, consciously be the pain, consciously allow whatever the afflictive feeling, sensation, thought may be to flourish. Give it its space. Like, oh my goodness. It's kind of like this gorgeous, imagine like this cosmic wild dragon being wrapped up in chains with gorgeous wings and just wrapped in chains and its face covered, and it's just like, oh, it just wants to, and for a moment just relaxing the chains of it needing to be anything different, relaxing just letting it be free, letting it stand up, stretch a paw or two, stretch out its wings, see how big the wingspan is. Just, this isn't a way of awareness getting more familiar with itself. And we start exploring and noticing the difference. Oh, it's so clear how mind experiences this moment. Oh yeah, how mind experiences sensations. How thought, the discriminating consciousness that Thich Nhat Hanh was speaking so beautifully about. That description, or the way Candace O'Denver calls it, closed intelligence. Closed intelligence. Oh yeah, this is how ego experiences this unfolding, this sensation, this pain, this circumstance. All right, I'm very familiar with that. Let's explore and get familiar with how consciousness meets the pain, how consciousness meets the afflictive thought, how consciousness meets circumstance. And that's available. Yeah. Was that helpful? Or is there more to it? 'Cause let's go there. Yes.
It was, because what I can see is that if body improves,
Yeah.
one gives one what it wants
Yeah.
to be healthful, then mind improves, or the brain improves. Like the physicality of the brain gets to improve, and then perception could potentially be better.
Oh,
Right. Yes. That's a little backwards. But the improvement of function, like you fertilize a plant and give it what it needs, it grows more tomatoes than one that's just sickly and doesn't have any water. So that's fine. That, like, treating the body with respect.
Oh my goodness.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have discovered, like, in meditations, don't need to describe whatever, extreme amount of violence happening in my head because the mind gets to fly, but total peace in the body.
Okay.
And that just gets to be allowed. It's just, that's the dragon spreading its wings. Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I'm curious, in that moment,
Yes.
can you feel it right now? Is there anything we can do to support the experience of that?
Experience of the...
Of mind with the war, the violence of mind, and the peace in the body?
Here's the interesting thing. It doesn't, it's visually that way, but that's not the body experience.
Okay, and I'm curious, in this moment, is it present?
What's that?
In this moment, is it present? The violent visuals.
Oh, no.
Okay, so it's not present in this moment.
Not this one.
What would you say is present in this moment?
The body.
The body's present. Yeah. And anything else present?
I can definitely feel the cage of the mind. Like what you were...
Okay, what kind of cage is it? For fun. I mean, we can compare cages.
Small and restricted. There's a lot more really practicing the stuff from Eckhart Tolle. It's just like, let spaciousness. There is spaciousness. Doesn't matter how hard your mind seems to be going at it. You can operate from awareness at least 10 seconds a day. Come on. Everybody has at least 10 seconds a day. So that is some of that's present too.
Awesome. But for fun, let's look at what the cage is. It's so interesting because it's like we can have this idea that we have a cage. Well, first of all, how fascinating is it that we can sit where we sit and have an allegiance to another second ago?
Yes.
Have an allegiance to, oh, this is how my mind is, this is how my body is, and that's wondrous. This is not, you have to get rid of that.
Right.
But where is it really in this moment? Right? Can you notice that it's just a thought in this moment? It's not a real thing. And so how sweet.
Everybody's busting out the blankets for my cage. Everybody's putting on padding. But it's vocal.
It's vocal.
It's highly vocal.
Vocal meaning?
It just talks a lot.
It talks a lot.
Talks a lot, and it seems to be like flat bars and shiny.
The cage.
Yeah.
Flat bars and
Yeah.
shiny. And now this cage, let's say the cage isn't something that's holding something, but let's say the cage is its own being, its own thing, its own aliveness. And for a moment, just totally allowing the cage to be itself.
Yeah, it's weird. It feels loose now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's sweet that we can give not just the things that we have learned to protect ourselves from, but also the means in which we have learned to protect ourselves from, the tools, the cages, the techniques, the strategies. It's like all of it, and for this moment, like what a zoo of beings, let's say all of it gets to be, it's completely free. Strategy, you get to completely be yourself. Manipulation, you get to completely be yourself right now. The cage is built. The fortress is built. The tower is built. The moats dug up. The world's built. The stories built. The actors, the performers, the scenes, the apparent expression of body and genetics. Oh my goodness, that all of that gets to be free. Yes, Claudia.
I would like to do the same movement, how it translates in me, like how you loosen the cage. I don't have a cage, it's different. Like what I would say, where I could use a little support or want to give myself support is, for me it's more like it's a fire which is always there, but it's always like water falling off and extinguishing some of the fire. That's kind of my cage.
A fire.
It's not like I have a cage and I'm not, that was when I was much younger, but now what I feel currently is there's more of a fire wanting to be, somehow always falls, but the water on it just extinguishes it. And when you led before through that one movement where you did, and this is love, and this is love, and even the tragedy in the world is love, I couldn't listen anymore. I got stuck in that because that's not my reality. I cannot even listen to the news. It disturbs me too much. My fire goes a little out.
Yeah.
So I have not integrated that as completely it's love, or when I hear about it, I become a little small, and that must be a form of a cage too. You know, it's a limit. It's probably also a self-imposed limitation. I would like to see it.
Well, how powerful to have the willingness to meet all of these various appearances that appear to affect an aspect of yourself. You know, where there's an appearance and then there may be and again, that has its place. You know, only you can be honest about your maturity and to the degree you want to meet it. For some beloveds, that has its place. And life that will do everything it needs to do naturally. There's a natural order of how everything unfolds and what a beloved needs to learn and what a beloved needs to experience. And but you can tell the truth. Am I willing to meet something that I used to coil from, that I used to hide from, that my spikes will come up, or my defense is activated, or my, you know, and you know, that's one of the beautiful things about discovering this option of rest, and discovering this option of peace, and discovering this option of awareness. It's like we get to meet all the different things from a different space. So we know what it's like, again, to meet it through ego. What does it mean to meet it through ego? To meet it through description. An appearance appears and you have a story about it. What we don't notice is that we're only reacting to our story about it. The reaction has nothing to do with the appearance. There's an appearance and then there's a description of the appearance. Can you see this? This is a crucial, important thing to explore, to notice, that I call it the invisible bridge that we don't know. Appearance. We have a thought about the appearance. And then we react to that story. This is horrible. This is scary. This is evidence of humanity losing its sanity. This is evidence that we're at the beginning of the end. This is evidence. I'm not saying that these are the particular ones for you, but just how mind can work. It can be along these lines. Again, I love how Byron Katie so clearly communicates. No such thing as a new stressful thought. No such thing as a new stressful thought.
What does she mean by that?
That there's no such thing as a new stress. So every stressful thought is not new. So it's like it has to do with an argument with this moment. Every stressful thought. This shouldn't be. This should be different. That should be like this. They shouldn't speak like that. They shouldn't make those decisions. They shouldn't vote like that. They shouldn't, rule like that. This shouldn't happen. The earth shouldn't be like this. The flower shouldn't be like this. The ocean shouldn't be like this. This is all along the lines. This shouldn't happen to me. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna, same stressful thoughts. Doesn't matter the culture. Doesn't matter the age. Anywhere in the universe there's a stressful thought. Same stressful thought. It's always an argument with what is. Doesn't matter the realm. Seraphims, Elohims, he and hims. It's always the same stressful thought, which is very interesting to notice. It's like, oh, I am experiencing the moment through the filter of mind. So innocent, so okay. I am going to experiment as consciousness and meet the same thing. Like you can even, some beloveds will watch the news, some beloveds will watch a scary movie, some beloveds, and I'm not saying to do this, you have to be honest with you as teacher, you as guru within, honest with yourself. Am I available and ready to meet this from this space? It's only you know. Only you know. And if it feels like a yes, one of the things could be to watch the news, maybe to be in a space of emphasizing, turning up the volume of a consciousness and the awareness that you are, whatever way that feels good to you. And then experience it from a whole other space. I know how mind experiences it, and I'm curious, and it's only a space of curiosity, so it's not a test. It's not that you're going to get a gold star or a punch in the face or, a reward or punishment. It's just curiosity. From a space of curiosity, how does open, aware intelligence meet appearances on a screen? That's all it is in the news, appearances on a screen. What are thoughts? Appearances on a screen. No difference between supposed outside world and here. That's why the outside world seems so scary, because we haven't met apparent outside world. World, where does it happen? Only here. Only place a world has ever happened. Here.
But when you drove through the two fires and it was all smoky and all you had was the next car and that was good enough.
Yeah.
That was an outside world.
No.
That I don't get.
Well, what's so fun is like right now where you sit is this room, just answer yes or no. Is this room appearing in your awareness?
Mhm. Yes.
Are these bodies appearing in your awareness?
Mhm.
Is your body appearing in your awareness?
Mhm.
Is everything you see appearing in your awareness?
Mhm.
Does everything you hear appear in your awareness? It's getting familiar with the all-embracing fullness that is awareness, and noticing, not as esoteric, not as woo-woo, not as spiritual, but by practically telling the truth about your direct experience and noticing, oh wow, we may have been trained to perceive from the space of here's me and there's the world. Here's me and there's other. Here's me and there's them. Here's me and there's... But that's just a trick of perception. It's just an assumption. In direct experience, we meet intimacy, an intimacy that is always the case. Intimacy that is, thank God, an intimacy that doesn't depend on whether someone does it right or wrong. An intimacy that doesn't depend on whether someone has mastered something or not. It's just the life that is. What's your experience in hearing this?
I'm still trying to apply it to a situation where you guys all who live here had to go in that caravan through that thing till you got spit out, burst into the blue sky again.
Yeah.
Older. I feel that must have felt like real, not just like an imagination.
Okay, well, this is where there can be a little bit of a
Misconception.
just an overlay, on an attempt to communicate this. So it's like not that, oh, this is just a movie and this is not real. It's like fully real. But the fully real doesn't mean that any of it has to be wrong or any of it has to be not completely aligned and inseparable from love. So the thrill, so it's so in noticing, it's like I noticed that there can be thoughts appearing, but because it's so clear, oh yeah, there's mind's interpretation, and right now just fully available. So what I notice is that kindness, not interrupted. Everything is an expression of kindness. That 3 feet, kindness. The cops and where the lights were not working, showing us where not to go and where to go, kindness. The winds being strong enough to knock over some trucks, but somehow didn't knock us over, kindness. The way there is some debris flying wasn't too strong, wasn't kindness. It's like, oh wow, this is, and you get to be in the intimacy of the life appearing, the flavor of God appearing in the moment, right? The flavor of life appearing. And then concepts such as, does this feel real? Does this not feel real? Does this feel true? Does it not feel true? It's like you're so busy as the spontaneous emanation of this moment, dancing as itself, meeting itself, that you're not thinking about those concepts of mind. And it's okay if those concepts come up. How fun to consider, is this? And in some ways it very well feels like a movie. I even had a soundtrack on. The song was, "It feels so good to be alive. Got all my family by my side. Couldn't wipe this gay off if I tried. God knows I lift my head with pride." And it was just like, listen, I was like, all right, Beyonce, listen, Beyonce used different lyrics than I use. There's the lyrics I use. But, so it's like in the car, and then just like, oh my gosh, I kept saying, this is amazing that how kind, no matter how much smoke, no matter how much devastation, no matter how much force, no matter how much elements, the kindness that is a flame that cannot be extinguished. The life that is a fullness, is a spaciousness that cannot be interrupted.
How did you keep fears out of your space?
By not at all having any sense that they shouldn't be there.
Oh, they could come or go.
Of course. So if there's anything that I'm ever saying in any of my satsangs, is that the fear is so welcome. The terror is completely welcome. How many times have we tried to get rid of the fear, beloveds? Can we learn that as a species? How many times we try to get rid of this and think, oh, the fear is wrong. So this is the fascinating thing with fear. What is afraid of fear?
The fire, because fear is that water which drowses it. I'm totally against fear, it's true.
So good to notice. So the only thing that's afraid of fear is fear. The only thing that has a problem with mind is mind. And that's okay. Mind is always going to have a problem with mind. That's the way it self-generates. It's delusion. That's the way it up. Okay. So mind, the only thing that has a problem with mind is mind. And then feeling into awareness. And it's like, does awareness have a problem with fear? Is awareness flinching in the presence of false evidence appearing real? Or as Nana says it,
face everything and rise.
face everything and rise. Amen. Face everything and rise, bitch. So in other words, there is such a welcome. How interesting that we could finally fall in love with fear. That we can finally be a bosom for fear. That we can finally be a lap for fear, be a space, be a safe house, be a halfway house, if you will. be a presence of it's like, oh, beloved fear. It's like, oh my gosh, there is a resting space here for you. It's like you get to completely, and then it's like so adorable, the trembling, the quivering lip, the it's like, oh beloved, there is so much space here. As we recognize that we can allow all these things to be, what we start to notice in a very organic and natural way is that they just don't arise in the same way. They don't have the same power. They don't cause the same ruckus. So what is present? What do they say? Where fear is excitement filtered through thoughts that aren't true. So in the absence of the allegiance to believing thoughts like, we're going to burn up, we're not going to make it out alive, we're going to get caught in a tidal wave of fire, I'm going to die in Costco. I'm going to run straight for them croissants, boy, I tell you. I'm going to eat a croissant or two before I And it's so fun being available for the dance of the moment.
There's a really good music video. I'll have to. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it ever again. It pops on, and the world is ending. And
Oh, is it
dudes-
where Burning Man happens in the backyard?
No, it's not. No, it's not that one. It's a different one. But there's like people getting laid on the sidewalk, and then there's other people who just want to eat donuts, and other people just want to sit with their family. And
Oh,
it's like
I love that.
ticking down to like midnight. When the world is gonna end.
Yeah.
And this clock is in the middle of the whole city where everybody's doing this, and then the clock ends. It like runs out of time, and nothing happens. And the dude who's singing the song goes and rewinds the clock and backs it up, and then everybody starts over again because they think the world's gonna end again.
I
That happens
love
like
that.
3 times during.
Is it a
the-
country song?
No, it's a pop song.
A pop song.
I think I know the band. I'll have to go
I'm
check
just
it out.
thinking of better lock them doors and turn your lights down low.
That has nothing to do with that video.
Well,
I'm hearing like REM or something like that.
no, it's not. It's actually pretty good.
Everybody hurts sometimes.
It's a very upbeat song. There's just
Oh wow! I wonder if it's by Tame Impala.
No, it's
Probably Katy Perry.
God, it's like a decade.
Katie
ago, I
Lang.
remember.
Well, if you do remember, please share it.
I've been wanting to look at it. Just put it on your Facebook feed.
And if anyone hears this knows it's like, oh yeah, that's so and so, BB King. Send us the video. Well, there is a harmonium here. Thank you, Devin, for letting me borrow the harmonium.
I've got to get on a foam roller. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, foam roller.
Need some DHEA, that's what you need.
Yeah.
I do, probably. Some cannabis and lots of things.
Oh, the joy, the joy, the joy. The joy. Deep bow. Yes, love.
Well, it's the same in blue again. I just ask it from a different angle because I really like to get that.
Yeah.
I think to make haven for fear is a big part. That would be a dissolving of my cage. Back to, like thinking that people have to leave their country or have nothing and then no food and some die. That I think my dilemma is to embrace that as love, the suffering. How can I cannot bring that totally together.
Well, I just want to
Like
make a
as child,
distinction.
the question, why is God not only good,
Yeah. I just want to make a distinction. Earlier, what I was communicating, maybe you heard it in a different way, which this is what we do, don't we? Hear things the way we hear things. But what I was communicating is that not necessarily is it love. Yes, everything is love. And that is discovered in one's own time, in one's own perfect space. But what I was communicating was that all that life asks of me is to be myself, and that is love. So whatever the appearance, what is life asking of me? To be myself. Whether it's showing up as clarity, showing up as available compassion, showing up as with available hands, available intellect, available mind, to be present in the moment. And all of those are qualities of love. So it wasn't necessarily saying that these things are love, this is love, this is love. I was saying, it's saying, inviting me to show up as love. So let's say a circumstance appears. What is my response? Love, kindness, to be myself. Love and kindness is not something I have to do. Cultivate is a beautiful word for a mind that experiences linearity, but it's not absolutely true, because love is already naturally occurring as the rest that you are. Peace already naturally occurring as the rest that you are. Skillful means naturally available and present in the yoga of life, the union of life, the movement of life, the dance of life. And the fascinating thing, even as you are fully available and full support, it's like love is feeding the children. Love is, however it authentically unfolds, writing that music, painting that painting, being still, not engaging in particular conversations, engaging in particular conversations. It's like life shows us the way. Oh, now this. Oh, now this. And oh, this too. Oh, this too. What is being called of me? Oh, to show up as love, which includes intellect, skills, arts, gifts, talents, silence, peace, listening, presence. And so it's less about if it's love or not love, and more about the reality of alive, wild love pouring through your life and your action in this moment. Your cup of tea in this moment. You're sitting and feeling the couch in this moment. You're saying yes in this moment. You're saying no in this moment.
So it's about not to lose the access to love when confronted with strong, or what the mind calls negative things or circumstances. To not.
And how would one lose the access to love?
Huh?
And how would one lose the access to love? Has anyone really ever lost the access to love?
It's hard that it coexists with fear.
Yeah.
But you're saying it can coexist with fear, right?
Well,
But when I hear about terrible things happening, that makes me fearful. And I don't think then I'm a strong love being.
yeah,
Then I shrink a little.
yeah.
And you say I could be both at the same time.
As an exploration, do you feel a curiosity to explore that possibility?
Well, it's kind of like my next step.
Nice. So there is a part of you that feels attracted to that option?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's really
It
nice.
doesn't feel free will that I shrink every time when violence or fearful things happen.
Yeah.
I want to stay in my fire and my love.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, because it's like we have this self-definition and the self-diagnosis, which totally can serve its purpose, that in those moments we always shrink. In those moments there's a pulling back, a recoiling, a covering, a protecting element. Sorry? A cloud covering. And so it's like, okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that reaction from mind, that reaction from ego, that reaction from story, that reaction from identification. And even in the recoiling, like if you can feel into your most contracted moment, your most cloud-covered day or cloud-covered moment, it's like we can feel that. If we can for a moment just take your hands and make a fist and tense your whole body, tense your feet and your legs and your butt cheeks and your scrotum, if you got a scrotum. Mouth, clench, and relax. And now clench again. And notice in the clenching, is awareness clenched? Or is awareness just aware of the clench? And relax and notice, does awareness relax from the clenching? Or is awareness just aware of the relaxation of sensation? Awareness is the same in both the fist and the open palm consciousness. And what we can start noticing is, oh yeah, it's okay for that part to forever contract and be afraid and move into story and project past and future. And it's okay for awareness to be awareness. It just is. I love that I get to meet you as a Claudia, so dear to my heart. And I love that I get to know you as awareness. As vast, aware reality itself. Same awareness as Ramana Maharshi. Same awareness as Thich Nhat Hanh. Same awareness as Papaji. Same awareness as all the beloveds. Known and unknown. Every realm. And that's what we're getting familiar with. Oh yeah, I am also awareness itself. This dream is that there's someone awakening to awareness. A dream is that there's someone learning how to be awareness. A dream is that there's someone letting go of thoughts. A dream is that there's someone moving through densities. Dream is that there's someone moving through levels. Dream is that there's someone. All points of view equally appearing in the balanced spaciousness of the awareness that you naturally have always been. Beginningless, beginning, always free. There's a really beloved quote from Thich Nhat Hanh that I want to read right now. Let me see if I can find it. Good times. Oh, no. Good times. Good times. People usually consider walking on water or in the air a miracle. But I think the real miracle is not to walk either on water or in thin air, but to walk on earth. Every day we are engaged in a miracle which we don't even recognize. A blue sky, white clouds, green leaves, the black, curious eyes of a child, our own two eyes, all is a miracle. It's a miracle that mind can dream. Fear is a miracle. A complete miracle that unwavering Sat Chidananda bottomless peace, boundless nourishment. What a miracle that fear can come to the party and even exist as something. A miracle. Concepts, the protection. A miracle. Appearances that never had an independent nature. I'm just going to sing a little bit of a chant called Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.